Good morning and welcome to episode 2, Project Mercury. The first episode, of course, was building the case. There's a couple of points I want to make on it that are missed out on the first episode. The top of the case is acrylic and see-through as well, and also both sides are see-through acrylic. So the intention is to give me 30% more speed and 10% more job satisfaction. I might put in some RGB lighting, but it'll have to be USB powered into the case so you can see the internals of it. But that was a couple of things that I needed to actually cover in the previous video that I didn't. I've sorted out the shelves. It just so happens that on the shelves they're all equally spaced. And I said today would be networking, and it is networking today, and it's very, very simple. So the switch I'm going to be using is a power over Ethernet switch to provide power for various bits of equipment within the actual rack itself, and I'm using a G108. Now that provides me, if I look at my little cheat sheet here, it provides me with 8 ports, and up to the output on each port will be up to 53 volts and up to 1 amps at a maximum there. So which is sufficient to power the Raspberry Pis and other bits and pieces that I'm actually putting into the rack itself. So I'm putting all the networking stuff at the top of the rack. And to make it look nice, I've actually powered it on because I want to see if I've got actual data connection as well coming from. It will be as a demonstration only. Today we're using the main Starlink, but just as a demonstration for that side of things to ensure that the switch works. The top lot is a pass-through, and that's also Cat6A. Everything I'm using is Cat6A on it. Cat7, yeah, it would be nice to use it, but a lot more expensive. So keeping things within budget. So it's a TP-Link G108, 8-port power over Ethernet switch. So let's get it wired up. The top one is a pass-through. So I haven't got cables ruining the look of the actual rack, dropping down all over the place at the front of the rack. Everything will be at the back of the rack. So let's connect up the various bits and pieces first. So I'll connect up the top and bottoms into the switch. Dead easy to do. Nice different colours as well, and it just looks nice. So I'm using 2 of each colour into the switch and pass through. Very, very short lead, so it keeps it nice and tidy. And that one. And then the final port will give me the internet, hopefully, when I've switched it on, which I think I have. So that goes from the switch to the pass-through, and as you can see, hopefully on that port you can see some indication there of the signal being passed through. So I know the power's working to the switch. The idea is to test, as I'm putting various bits of equipment into the rack, test the power first, rather than throw everything into the rack and hopefully everything works. One piece at a time. check the power's on, the data works, etc. So I've got no equipment attached to it, but I know I'm getting data from the actual router. So that's good news, and the power light's on to the TP link, of course. Right, now, as I said, I don't want cables going to bits of equipment at the front of the rack. I want to keep it all nice and tidy. So I came across, it's amazing, the certain river site, isn't it? I've come across some flat, half-metre long Cat6A cables that are quite small. And these will actually slot into the back. They're just the right height to attach to the equipment. These actually plug into the back of the pass-through at the back and then goes through to the equipment. And I got 12 of them. I don't need 12, but I've got 12 of these cables for next to nothing, and they are Cat6A. So they're good. So once I actually put in all the equipment, it should be okay. And you won't see them because I'll route them. On this pass-through at the top, at the back, I don't think I can spin it round at the moment because I've got the power in. But there is a cable management system at the back of this that will take it all down. I've used all the equipment, tested it all. So the bottom one will be for the computers, the two computers, that's the Linux computer and the Windows computer. The second one will be the Raspberry Pis. I'm only putting 2 in this rack, and you've noticed I've said this rack. How many racks are there going to be? So there'll be 2 Raspberry Pis on that rack, and the next rack is for the HF and VHF radios. And to prove that the HF fitted, there we go, guys. There's the HF set that will sit in to the rack. That's the HF set. The VHF set is actually quite small and will sit next to it. Everything is on the microphone in the VHF set, the colour screen and everything, and there's just a small box that will sit somewhere next to the HF set here. The next rack up, the final rack, will be for all the ancillary equipment like the D19 that I won't need to see any of the other stuff. I'll be putting a Raspberry Pi Zero here to give me Fusion, and also Brandmeister DMR. So I'll have DMR and other bits coming out of that. And right at the back of this top rack, I've got some spaces at the back of some of these racks. I will put the KVM switch that's remote controlled to switch between computers and keyboards. Haven't shown you the keyboard yet, have I? Well, that is part 2 of the system. So all the racks have been tested that they hold the equipment that's going to be going in them. It just so happens that they're all equally spaced. So that's great. The only worry I've got is both computers are going to be down here. Somebody did make a comment that I'm going to be blowing hot air over the rest of the gear that's in the actual rack. The actual rack itself is open. Front and back is open. There should be enough circulation of air to blow all the hot air out. If that doesn't work, because the only bits of equipment that I'm actually worried about going into the rack are the 2 computers that produce, using M2 drives, provide a lot of heat. I can always reverse the fan, and it's only a case of actually sliding the bottom shelf out, this bottom shelf right at the bottom, and turning the fan over. But I won't know until we've actually got all the equipment in the rack. I start monitoring, especially the GM Tech G9 Linux computer, must start monitoring the temperatures on that. But it's a simple fix if I need to change it from a blow to a suck. And as I've said, in the top, underneath at the back, I can always put in a second fan. So I can actually turn this one where it's sucking the heat out and having a blow fan underneath the top. All cables will run down the back. I've got two power supplies that will, two 10-inch power supplies that will actually fit on the back, and one that will be going off to the power station that provides power when you're out either doing parks on the air, wherever you want to do, or you're moving this rack to an alternative location. So that's the end of episode 2. So getting the network stuff actually sorted there and ensuring the power's working on it and I'm getting data into the switch. None of the other lights will be on yet because obviously I've got no equipment attached to it. And also brilliantly finding these very thin, flat Cat6A cables. I'm hoping they're going to do the job. Not tested them yet, but hopefully they'll work. Okay, guys, that's the end of episode 2. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Progression. Next week, we will talk about the two computers and get them fitted into the bottom of the rack there. I'll also show you the 10-inch monitor that's going on there, and I'll also need the keyboard. You haven't seen the keyboard. And we will be doing that next week. So that's fitting the two computers in, making sure they work, making sure the KVM switch works as well for the switching between the computers and the various systems that I'm putting on this bottom shelf. Okay, guys, look forward to episode 3, which is the two computers sat onto the bottom shelf there. Thanks for joining me this week. See you next week.